Israel-Hamas war. All about All Eyes on Rafah campaign, I Stand with Israel. Historical context of the conflict. The Israel-Hamas conflict is part of the broader Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which has deep historical roots. Since the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948, there have been numerous wars, uprisings, and periods of violence and negotiation. The conflict with Hamas, an Islamist militant group that took control of Gaza in 2007, has been marked by frequent escalations, characterized by rocket fire. Rafah's strategic and humanitarian importance. Rafah, located on the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt, holds significant strategic and humanitarian value. For Gazans, it is a critical point of access to the outside world, particularly for humanitarian aid. For Israel, Rafah represents both a humanitarian challenge and a security concern. The All Eyes on Rafah campaign, Objectives and Actions. Objectives. The All Eyes on Rafah campaign is an initiative aimed at focusing global attention on the crucial role of the Rafah crossing in the current conflict. Its primary objectives include ensuring humanitarian aid delivery. The campaign advocates for the uninterrupted flow of essential supplies such as food, medicine, and medical equipment to the civilian, preventing arms smuggling. It seeks to ensure that stringent measures are in place to prevent the smuggling of weapons and military supplies to Hamas through facilitating civilian movement. The campaign highlights the need for safe passage for civilians, particularly those needing medical care or those fleeing the conflict. Key actions. Diplomatic engagement, engaging with international allies, including Egypt and other regional players, to keep the Rafah crossing open for humanitarian purposes. International monitoring, calling for the presence of international observers or a United Nations monitoring force at the Rafah crossing to oversee the flow of goods and people. Media and public awareness, utilizing global media and public campaigns to raise awareness about the humanitarian needs in Gaza and the importance of Rafah. Generating Israel's perspective and security concerns. From Israel's perspective, the Rafah crossing is a critical juncture that requires careful management due to several concerns. Weapons smuggling. Historically, there have been instances where Rafah has been used to smuggle weapons into Gaza. These weapons have been used in attacks against Israeli civilians and military targets. Ensuring that Rafah does not become a gateway for arms smuggling is a top priority for Israel. Hamas's military capabilities. By controlling the flow of goods and people through Rafah, there is a risk that Hamas could strengthen its military capabilities, posing a greater threat to Israeli security. Protecting Israeli civilians. The primary duty of the Israeli government is to protect its citizens. Ensuring that Rafah does not become a security risk is essential to maintaining the safety and security of the Israeli population. International community's role. The international community plays a crucial role in balancing humanitarian needs with security concerns. Many countries and organizations support the need for humanitarian aid to reach Gaza, while also recognizing Israel's legitimate security concerns. This dual recognition has led to calls for a balanced approach, ensuring that aid reaches those in need without compromising Israel's security. Israel's commitment to peace and security. Despite the ongoing conflict, Israel remains committed to seeking a peaceful resolution. The All Eyes on Rafah campaign is part of a broader effort to ensure that humanitarian needs are met while addressing security threats. Israel's actions are guided by a commitment to protect its citizens and maintain regional stability. My point of view. Israel's right to self-defense. First and foremost, Israel has an undeniable right to defend itself against attacks from Hamas. This terrorist organization has repeatedly launched rockets and carried out other forms of aggression against Israeli civilians, causing loss of life, injuries, and widespread fear. In this context, securing all points of entry and exit from Gaza, including the Rafah crossing, is vital to prevent the influx of weapons and materials that could be used to further endanger Israeli lives. Humanitarian concerns with security considerations. While I deeply empathize with the humanitarian needs of the people in Gaza, it is imperative that any aid entering through Rafah is thoroughly inspected. The All Eyes on Rafah campaign rightly emphasizes the need for international observers to ensure that humanitarian aid reaches those in need without being exploited by Hamas for military purposes. This dual approach, providing aid while preventing smuggling, is essential to maintain both compassion and security. The role of international community. The international community has a significant role to play in this campaign. By supporting measures that ensure Rafah remains a humanitarian lifeline and not a weapons conduit, we can address the immediate needs of Gazan civilians while protecting Israeli citizens. International observers and strict monitoring protocols can help achieve this balance, ensuring transparency and compliance. A path towards peace. Supporting the All Eyes on Rafah campaign is not just about addressing the current conflict. It is about laying the groundwork for a more stable and peaceful future. By ensuring that Rafah is used solely for humanitarian purposes, we can reduce the chances of future escalations and create an environment where dialogue and peaceful resolution become more viable options. In conclusion, as a supporter of Israel, I believe that the All Eyes on Rafah campaign is a critical step towards ensuring our security while also addressing humanitarian concerns. It reflects a balanced approach that prioritizes the safety of Israeli citizens and the well-being of Gazan civilians. This dual focus is essential for moving towards a future where peace and security are achievable goals for all parties involved. Concise suggestions for the All Eyes on Rafah campaign. Deploy monitors. Action. Place international observers at Rafah. Benefit. Ensures transparency and security. Action. Use advanced scanners. Benefit. Detects weapons quickly, aids flow efficiently. Strengthen ties. Action. Collaborate more with Egypt. Benefit. Improve security and aid delivery. Create corridors. Action. Establish aid-specific routes. Benefit. Ensure safe and efficient aid passage. Raise awareness. Action. Educate public and global community. Benefit. Builds support and understanding for Israel's efforts. I stand with Israel because India's support for Israel is rooted in shared democratic values, historical and cultural connection.